Yeah, I think she was in high school. Recording in
I
progress.
love it when it does that. Big old, just back of my head, just real nice and large.
Derek, do you remember Jordan, our littlest? Yeah, she's got a baby. She's married.
So crazy.
I know. Yeah, so you don't get called.
Time doesn't stop.
No, but John, he's a good dad. I mean, they're both great dads.
Yeah.
He's a good dad. You haven't seen him yet.
It's been a little while. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Fletcher's live in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So I see them every.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just
We lived in Atomas for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys here?
In Rockland right now.
Okay,
So
so we're late.
yeah.
Actually, everybody's kind of like.
Yeah. A little further out, further away as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, we just moved in June, up 12 Bridges, started in Wayne Hospital.
Mhm. Yeah,
Had
yeah.
a quick process. So we're about, I mean, we're in now.
Awesome. How do you like being in here?
I
Or are you
actually, yes, so
Awesome.
I just got a random phone call, which I don't hang up on.
Yeah.
So I thought it was but it was a really nice gal.
Yeah.
And I actually, a friend of mine, that's what he is. So
Uh-huh.
I was in my head.
It already
thinking
had like
might
the.
be, But
Okay.
then when they said Jeff's name, we're like, oh, I just.
Yeah.
sure.
Caitlin is married to my son Tyler.
Mhm.
So they're like,
Yeah. Drew. Yeah.
It's so
I've known
funny.
the Harrisons forever. Since the 90s.
Bob and Ronnie are the sweetest people.
Yeah.
They really are.
So. it's
My
just
sister had the
kinda-
jackpot on in-laws. I'll say that.
they are
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, so that's how. And then I went, okay, wait. And then
Crazy.
talked to them a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. It's a pretty awesome place to be.
I need people.
Yeah.
Is what I.
Okay. Well, they definitely have. Yeah. They have a lot of ways of getting to people. So. Yeah.
I mean, just knowing.
All right.
Yeah.
You know.
No, you're spot on.
So is my water over there?
Hi, Karen. How are you?
Condos are terrible.
I'll never get another one.
All right. Everybody ready? Solid. We're gonna. It's been a month, right?
Yeah, got a lot of people on.
Everybody ready? Good morning. We're gonna have to get back to the swing of things here. Let's try this again. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, cool. I got your attention. How's everybody feeling? Good. Everybody COVID free? Don't tell us if you aren't. All right. Yeah, it's going around. We're back though.
I'm not.
Anyway, yeah, you're back. You're fine. Good to see everybody. It's good to be back in person. What a weird start to the year. My dad, Michael, and I were all out of the office for almost 2 weeks with COVID. So it was bound to happen. We finally got it. But we're back now and everybody's feeling good. So that's the good news. For those of you that are joining us for the first time and checking us out, welcome. Hope you enjoy the information and the content today. Everybody that's been here for a while, if you see somebody you don't know yet, make sure you say hi and introduce yourself at some point after the meeting. For those of you that are also brand new, we start every single meeting with an icebreaker. And I know it sounds a little cliche, but it's something that we do to just kind of get things going and get everybody talking and out of their shell. So what would be the most surprising scientific discovery imaginable? John, I know you've got something here.
Give me a second.
All right.
Robbie.
Robbie. Reverse the aging process. Okay, I like that one. All right.
Cure for
A
COVID.
lot of people are thinking about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A vaccine that works.
A vaccine that works. It seemed to work for me. I don't know. We'll leave the politics aside here. Go ahead, Michael.
Something to make it taller.
They had platform shoes. That was invented a lot. Flores probably still has some in his closet. Yeah,
Back in the 70s.
yeah,
With his angels flying.
Yeah. absolutely. Yeah, some bell bottoms. Yep.
Yeah.
What else?
Cure for autism.
A cure for autism. I like that
Yes.
one. Yeah, and cancer and every other disease, right? Yeah, absolutely. What about a time machine? You can just go back and like an actual real one. You can go back and actually like know what the stock market was going to do, know that you should have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago when somebody told you about it, you know, all those kind of things. I think that would be a good one. John?
Robot legs.
Robot legs.
Yeah.
All right, solid. Anything specific they would do or just to have them, just to walk? So you don't have to or what? Okay. Solid. All right. All right. Moving on. Welcome to a couple of our new agents here. And if your photo's not up here, it's because we don't have it yet. So a few of you that maybe are joining us on Zoom, once we have your photo, we'll make sure that we get you in this announcement. But Gavin Haas is going to be joining us in this office. Gabrielle, you're here. Gabrielle Romero, welcome. And then Ashley Heller, you're here somewhere, I think. Okay, awesome. Welcome. And Eugene, I'm not going to butcher your last name. I'm sorry. But he's in the Boise office, and I believe he's on Zoom as well. And Daniel Trung, but we don't have his photo yet. So. All right. Not to rub it in. Any Cowboys fans in here? Sorry, dude. Hey, maybe next year. Probably not, but you know. Anyways, congrats to all the Niners fans in here. I don't know who you are, but yeah. Housekeeping. California contract class is again today. The class yesterday was for new agents because we obviously missed a few weeks. So we're going to have another California contract class today, right, Dad?
Starting on page number 2.
Starting on page number 2. Okay. And we are also recording all of these. So hopefully we stay on topic as much as possible because we're putting a full course together. So it's easy to go back and reference. All right. We actually have a lot of recordings, but they're kind of all jumped around. So we're starting back over with the new contract anyway. Don't forget, tonight is call night from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. We will have food here. If you guys could let Colette know if you're going to be here tonight for call night, so we have an actual head count of the people that we need to feed, that'd be helpful. All right. The pitch class, don't forget, that's every Friday. Rex, are you here? I don't know if he's not here
I'm
today.
on Zoom today. Toby,
Okay,
I'm on
how was
Zoom.
attendance last week?
It was good. It was good.
Good. Cool.
Yeah, we had a lot of new people. They did very well.
Cool. Well, now that the office is back open again, if you guys can be in person for that class, especially if you're brand new, you're going to get a lot out of it. Even if you just jump on Zoom and listen to people talking, you're still going to get a lot out of it. So don't miss it just because you can't be here. All right. Now, number 4, the Fast Forward Movement Mastermind. How many of you have accepted the invite that I sent you guys to this group? Okay. If not, make sure that you guys get the link from Colette to actually join this group and request it.
In general, yeah.
I'll get you the link. No, I'm talking about the actual Facebook group. Yeah. There's about 2,500 agents, and it's the people that were in their downline at EXP. And there's team leaders like us that run this meeting every single Monday. And there's top agents from around the country. There's new agents asking questions, and there's agents in between that are building their careers. And it's all about how do you level up your production. They're not going to talk about revenue share. They're not going to talk about stock. They're there to talk about how do you get better as an agent. And then no matter what tier you're at as an agent, how do you take it to the next level, right? And it's an incredible group. It's great information, and it's a different voice than ours. And it's different topics, different subject matters. So expand your horizons a little bit, try to jump onto that and put it in your calendars for every Monday at 10 a.m. And again, the link is in the Slack channel for meeting links, right? That's what it's called. Great. Okay, cool. We'll resend that out in the general channel. Any questions about that?
One more time, where's the link? Because I couldn't find it.
So
last Monday.
it's, if you go to, you can search it in the top. But if you search for meeting links, I think it's just a channel where Colette actually just put the meeting links for this meeting, the pitch class, literally every meeting that we do online.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. I would suggest you all put a calendar block on your digital calendars to make sure you have that blocked out every Monday though. Who's been going to it lately?
I went to one.
You went to one? How was it?
Good.
Yeah?
Really good.
Good content?
Yeah.
How about you?
I dig it.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
Really good.
There's about 450,
Great information.
500 agents on it every single week. What's that? Someone said great information. Great information.
For
Cool.
both business and personal.
Yeah.
world.
They go through a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and it just depends on the subject matter of, you can submit questions into them, and they go through the list of questions every single week before the meeting, and they select the ones that they haven't really covered recently or that they think would actually help the whole entire group improve. But it's really good information. I actually have sat through it many times, and I've been doing this for 18 years, and I find something out of it every single time. So worth taking a look at. And if you're visiting us and you're not sure if you're going to join yet, we can actually bring you in as a guest. So you guys can check that out too. All right, Eric, come on up. So, and Dad, you might want to come up too, because your diagrams in here.
Okay, yeah.
That you asked for. And Eric's going to touch on it too. So real quick, I want to make sure, Eric, you've probably seen Eric hovering around the office for the last couple months, and he's the branch manager for Essex Mortgage for us. He's also Terry's son-in-law. But yeah, don't hold it against him or her for that matter, right? But
Lucky guy, that one.
yeah, Eric and I have been friends for a long time now, and I actually married him and Anahid in Cabo, not officially because I wasn't ordained in Cabo. However, I did run the ceremony. We'll just call it that. So anyways, this is Eric. We have Justin over in the corner as well. Reston is still with us. He's not gone, just so you guys know. But he lives all the way in Folsom, and it's becoming harder for him to commute back and forth with 3 little ones and trying to get everything done. So he'll be in here occasionally dropping in and saying hello. But more importantly, Justin will be taking the seat. And if you guys have any questions, mortgage related, we still have the channel in Slack, so please use that. But also more importantly, if you're here in person, make sure you guys are walking over to the desk over here or getting a hold of Eric or Justin. They're also both in Slack with us as well. And then John Ziegler is also joining us. It should be live with Essex in the next 10 days, right?
Yep. 2 weeks or so.
Yep.
Be up and running.
Awesome.
Mortgage Dad 916. It's a sweet follow.
John's also really shy. You guys you'll learn that. Very quiet. Yeah. If you think he's yelling at you, he's just saying hi. Okay. I've also known John a very long time as well. And anyway, welcome, John, and congrats. Yeah. So Eric, I'll let you take it over. I apologize. I just want to make an introduction here.
All right, so I don't have anything else.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
All
I'm
right.
kidding.
Yeah.
Just a quick market update. I know that the office has been closed for like a week or so, and everyone always asks us like where rates are at, what's going on. So inflation is hovering at roughly like a 30-year high. And what we have a tendency to see with rates is when inflation goes up, so do rates. They follow. What we're seeing right now, the week ending of Christmas of 12/23, the 30-year was sitting at roughly a 3.12%. As of last week, we're already up to a 3.45. So what you're seeing it for borrowers is a loss of purchase power as that rate goes up. So if you have any pre-approvals out there that you're shopping and you've gotten them approved, say like the first week of January, last week of December, you may want to get them back in touch with us to get a new pre-approval going, just so we can update those numbers and reflect exactly what's available in the market. What else do we have?
Do you want to go to that slide?
Sure, go ahead.
I think you both.
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
on that one.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, just so you guys know, also, Eric is a Jesuit graduate, so he had some education at least. But real quick, I want to follow up on what's going to happen for those of you that are guests that I haven't really had a chance to talk to. I've been doing this longer than most of you have been alive, and what happens every time interest rates start to move? There's what I call an emotional number, right, Alan? There's an emotional number that once we get to that point, you're going to start hearing your buyers say, I'm going to wait for the rates to come back down. Okay. So one of the things we like to do here, as you know, is we like to get in front of things that come up. The best way to overcome an objection is to handle it before it comes up. So one of the things that I asked Justin to do was to send me a chart. And this is in, we'll have it in Slack. I recommend you all make a copy of it so that you can share it and make a PDF of it, because it's probably a couple months out. I think the Fed will probably start raising rates in May. And then when that happens, usually the month before, we start seeing mortgage rates move a little bit. So remember what you hear on CNBC and Fox Business News and that type about the rates. That's not necessarily mortgage rates, but mortgage rates do follow rates, right? And so as Eric touched on, with inflation doing what it's doing, they have no choice. The rates are going to go up. Okay. I think this time around, and just so you guys know, see that all-time high, that 18.63. You haven't lived in the real estate business until you close a transaction with an FHA GPM at 6 points and the rate is 17.5%, right? I did that in 1982. Those people made a lot of money on that house though. But my point is, if you look at this chart, right, and you actually study it for a moment, what do you think the chances are of rates going back down again, with the inflation doing what it's doing, versus the opposite, where there's a better opportunity for rates to continue to go back up? Right? If you look at the chart, you can see 1971 all the way back here, 1981, which was just unbelievably terrible. And then you could see it slowly but surely it got here, but at some point they could only keep the rates down artificially for so long. And that's where we've arrived, right? So we're in the real estate business. We sell real estate, right? When we're talking to buyers, what you're going to hear, there's that emotional number. I think it's going to be about 5%. We're not even at 4 yet, right?
Correct.
But we'll get there pretty quick, right? We'll probably bounce off of 5. The world will all of a sudden seem like it's going to end, because everybody's going to talk to us about the fact that they're going to wait for the rates to get back into the 3s. They may not get back into the 3s, right? So what you want to do is you want to be able to educate people as to this chart, in my opinion, because if you look at it, all-time low was January of 21, right? And it was 2.65. Those of you that refinanced or purchased in January of 2021, congratulations. But we're here. I think we're going to get back up, like I said, that 4 or 5. And the reason you want to be able to share this with your buyers is because what you don't want them to do is you're going to go out and show them, Lynette, you're going to find them a perfect house and they're, they got 20% down and they say, well, we think we're just going to wait until the rates come back down into the 3s. There's probably a greater likelihood, given the inflation that we're seeing right now and the Fed's responsibility to somehow manage that, there's a greater likelihood that we could see 5.5 before we ever see 3.5 again, once we hit that 5. Okay, so I'll talk more when I get into the coach's corner, but I wanted to make sure that you guys all had this chart and you studied it, because what's going to happen, mark my words, what's going to happen is there's going to be that emotional number that people are going to start telling you, I'm going to wait till rates come back down, right? If I had $1 for every time I heard that in the 80s and the 90s, right? You could see rates did eventually pop up. They don't just fall down or they don't just jump right up, except for right here. That was Jimmy Carter. But anyway, we'll talk some more. Again, we're going to talk a little bit today in the class, also overcoming some objections around rates. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
Appreciate it. All right. So it's been brought up to us a few times that a lot of the newer people, and actually I think even experienced people sometimes need some help guiding into what should my daily schedule look like, right? This one's actually more of a meme, but if you can't see it back there, it starts out with right when you get into contract, I'm excited. Then it goes to, I'm hard. This is hard. It's working. I messed up. Give up the good for the great. I think I'm going bankrupt. Anyways, you can see it's a very up and down projection, but eventually you get to the finish line. And here's what I've told agents for a very long time. We were joking about it a little bit yesterday, but I asked Michael, I was like, when you've seen me do a real estate deal, do you ever see me get emotional, right? When I'm negotiating or doing anything? And he's like, no, because I don't, right? The outcome's going to be the outcome. I'm going to do my part, but I can control what I can control. I can't control what escrow screws up or the mortgage company, messes up, or timelines getting delayed because of appraisers being so over impacted. I can't control those things. What can I control? My communication with my client, right? I can absolutely control the actual information I'm giving to them and set the expectations properly to make sure we're not running in to a surprise. Because what is it you always say, Dad? That you always have Renee say? She's not here though.
Most people don't get upset when something goes wrong. They get upset when something goes wrong and you get to tell them that it might.
Right. Did you all hear that? Okay. Does that make sense? Like, think about you guys, right? When you're dealing with mortgage companies outside of here, because ours are perfect. But the reality of it is nobody's perfect. But when do you get upset with the other people you have to work with? It's difference between disappointed and upset, right? Disappointed is when you find out something went wrong. And by the way, you're in residential real estate. Every single deal is going to have a problem. That's why you make a lot of money to deal with it. All right. But guess what? If you didn't communicate the problem or they didn't communicate it to you and they had the time frame to do so beforehand, you get upset because of the fact that you're now sitting in a bad position to actually have to go and communicate that to the client, right? It's not the disappointment, it's the fact that they didn't communicate it first, right? So don't delay the hard information. Tack it head on. And I swear your life will be a lot easier in this business if you do so. And just remember, you can only control what you can control. All right. So while this was funny, it actually is true, right? This is the emotional imbalance of residential real estate as a real estate agent. All right. All right. So I'm going to move on to daily habits of a successful agent. And this isn't set in stone. This can be changed by, what Wendy Starr does could be very different from what Peggy Urief does. And it is, truthfully. Their day-to-day schedule look different. But what you come back to with both of them is consistency. They do the same thing every single day, right? And while our days look a little bit different in terms of the customer and what we're dealing with in terms of problems, they carve out the time to do the things they have to do. Guess what never takes a back seat? Prospecting, ever. Because guess what happens when you put that on the back seat? All of a sudden you close 6 transactions and you're sitting there like, oh shit, I don't have anything else in the pipeline, right? So they don't stop that process ever. So what this says, and I don't know if you guys can see it back there, so I'll read it. Number 1 is wake up early. They all do, right? I'm up early every single morning, not because I like to be, but because my kids make me get up early. They like to get up at 4 and 5 in the morning. It's really cool. Eat well. Clearly, I'm a product of that, right? What the hell are you guys laughing at? Review hot sheets. How many of you guys have hot sheets for the markets that you guys want to work? Tim does. Tim, do you use hot sheets in Chime or on the MLS? Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys can do it all in Chime on the little home section. You can create that. I'll make sure I send out a video for that. But you're using the hot sheets, which is what matters. It doesn't matter where you're using it at. When you're doing it, what are you using it for?
I have a pretty good idea of my active buyers, and as soon as I see something that might match for them, I send it to them.
100%. Here's another reason why, right? Because guess what? We get a lot of leads in here. And when a lead calls on the market that you guys are working or picking up the calls in, and they say, oh yeah, well, what about this other house down the street, right? They called on this house, right? Now they're asking you about another one. How bad does it look if you don't really know what you're talking about with the other address? You don't have to be an expert on the home, but it's nice to know that it's there, right? And more importantly, a lot of times with the leads that we get with any lead source, sometimes they come in on pending homes, right? And what do most agents say? At Zillow, this was an actual joke inside the company because we would have all the calls recorded and they would go through and listen to them all to try to figure out how we had better training. But one of the biggest misses for agents was when a lead called on a pending property. What do you think majority of agents said? Sorry, that home's already pending. That's it. They didn't follow up with the fact that that's just an address. There's probably 4 or 5 other, maybe not in this market right now, but there will be one coming up. They didn't follow up to find out what specifically about that property they liked so they could help them find another one. Because everybody's a little different, right? Was it the school district? Was it closer to work? Was it further from work? Are they trying to get further away from in-laws? I don't know. These are all things that I've heard before, right? And my point I'm making is ask more questions, right? And so knowing the inventory, which is what the hot sheet is for, no matter whether you're wanting to work Roseville or Granite Bay or you're up working Truckee, right? It's really easy to create them and you can log in every single morning and it'll tell you exactly what the new listings are. This is what professionals do, right? Imagine working at a company where you're actually a salaried employee and bonused off your sales and not knowing your product. That probably isn't a good thing, right? So try to know your product, try to know your inventory, what's available and what's not, all right? And I'll do a video on showing you guys how to do that in Chime. It's really easy. Number 4, plan your lead gen. What are you gonna do today to prospect, right? The one thing I hear from a lot of new agents is, well, I don't have any leads yet, right? All right, Well, what are you doing about it? Go knock on some doors. Find an open house to hold this weekend. Doesn't have to be in here. If we don't have the listing where you want to hold an open house or one's already taken, get on the MLS. Call some other agents that have listings that you want to hold open. They might say no, but who cares, right? Go to the next one. Find one to hold open. We also have the pawn leads inside of Chime, which there's like 5,000 leads in there. Robbie's calling through them on a regular basis, but it doesn't mean you guys can't, right? If you work them in the night or the morning, you might get a hold of somebody he didn't. So just something to keep in mind for you guys. There's always something you can be doing to go and source business. If you guys are already busy or we've given you enough leads where your pipeline's getting full, you should be going back through and cleaning your pipeline up every single day. And at least getting through it one section of it to make sure that that person is exactly where they should be in the pipeline, right? If they haven't answered the phone in a month, they're probably not a hot lead anymore, right? And if they didn't show up for the appointment, they probably shouldn't be in appointments that are appointment met. We need to move them backwards. But these are things that you should be doing to clean it up so that you guys can be more productive with your prospecting, right? It's not something we just talk about that sounds cool in sales. It's an actual thing that we should be doing to make sure we're more productive and doing more deals, because that's why we're all here, right? All right. 15 minutes of scripts or rehearsal. I don't care how experienced you are, whether if you're having conversations every single day with prospects or past clients, if you're really experienced, you're sharpening the tool, right? So you're either doing that or you should be going through scripts and practicing it and rehearsing it. Guess where we do that? The pitch class every single week, every Friday. We have a ton of scripts. So if you guys don't have scripts or if you haven't gotten it from us yet, make sure you guys come over to Michael or Colette. And I think Michael, you have a whole stack of them, right? All right. So come see Michael if you guys need those. An hour of appointment setting, number 6. So again, if you're brand new, it might be hard to set appointments right now, but you should be trying, right? And if you don't have them to call, go knock on the doors. You guys want to be successful, you got to do the things you don't want to do. This isn't easy. It's not a cakewalk. It's not going to just show up and the money doesn't just hit your bank account. You got to do things that you don't like, I promise. All right. Okay. Number 7, actually going on an appointment. And again, this might not be every day, but we should have a plan of how many appointments we want to have a week. Jason, do you have a plan of how many appointments you want to have a week?
Mhm.
How many is that?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay. Because out of 3 to 4, you're probably converting 90% of them, right?
No.
70. We'll call it 70. All right. 7. All right. Depends on the lead source too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Number 8, they all express gratitude. They don't find reasons to complain when shit goes south. They find reasons to find the things that they should be thankful for, right? I have leads. I have a system, right? I have a place I can go and get the information I want. I have a great support group with this incredible team. They find reasons to be thankful and grateful versus complain, okay? Number 9, treat yourself. And that could be whatever you want. Go play a round of golf, go hit golf balls, go duck hunting, Eric. Go fishing, go to the gym. I mean, whatever it is that's going to make you happy for 30 minutes out of the day or an hour and a half, whatever you need. Every day is a little different depending on what you're going through. Take it, go do it. Don't feel guilty about it. They don't, right? Top agents go and do what they need to do to get their mind right. Okay. Number 10, I kind of already touched on this, but organize your pipeline, right? If you stay up to date with it, you don't have to go through it once a month and spend 3 hours going through and trying to clean it up. If you're just on it, it's just consistently stays that way and it becomes a habit. All right. And the last one, 15 minutes of education.
Okay.
And that can be as long as you want. Average it out. But
Back up.
YouTube is an incredible tool. And at the end of the day, you guys all have access to the same thing I do, right? So, somebody is. Sam, is that you? I heard cussing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. All right, I think we're good. Anyway, we have tons of access to this stuff, right? We have YouTube, which is a insane amount of education. The hardest thing to do is find what you should watch, right? But we also have EXP University, which is at your guys' fingertips. There is countless hours. I mean, you could literally never watch it all in a lifetime at this point of information in there. And it's all recorded from the classes that are done live every single day in EXP world. And if you guys are new or joining us just now, are thinking about joining us, every single day, there's 8 live trainings in EXP world that are taught by top producing agents. They're not paid trainers. So the way EXP works is if I do a certain level of production as a team leader or as an individual agent, and I hit, essentially have to make $500,000 of gross commission income to the company, and we become what they call an icon agent. At that point, we can earn our $16,000 cap back in stock, but we have to actually do things. We actually have to do trainings in EXP world. In order to get the incentive, we have to give back, right? So this isn't paid trainers. These are legitimate top producing agents around the country that are doing these trainings. They're all pre-recorded. All recorded and put into EXP University every single day. All right. You have so much access to so much content. It's just figuring out what you want to watch today, right? My suggestion to all of you, whether you're brand new or experienced or somewhere in the middle and you're on your way, take the time to actually go and invest into figuring out stuff that you want to watch. One of the videos that's in there that I have queued up to watch this week is how to buy a house with crypto. I don't know how the hell that process works. I should probably know that for when it happens here, right? Because somebody's going to have questions about it, because that's about to happen real quick. It's already happening in LA and some of the more expensive markets on a daily basis, right? But that's available to all of you. It's not just available to me. All you have to do is go in there and search for that, all right? Any questions about this? Feedback?
I think one of the crazy things to think about with EXP World is that it's such an overlooked avenue of information, but it's literally a 600 employee platform. So if they're averaging $50,000 annual income, it's $30 million that EXP is paying for this thing that we get for $85.
Yeah.
And it's an untapped resource for sure. So.
Absolutely. 100%. Michael.
And the Grant Cardone classes they put on every month. I think that's a huge resource that
Oh yeah.
people take advantage of.
Yeah. Those would cost you $5,000 just to buy the course, and they put it in there for free. So the Grant Cardone sales training courses, and I think it's a 7-part series or something like that.
Yeah,
8-part, maybe 6. Okay. Yeah. What else? Any feedback? Tim, you've been kicking ass. What's your day look like? Besides showing a lot of houses at this point.
Yeah, trips to Tahoe. No, I think a lot of this, obviously, I feel like I could be better at treating myself, but I get up early, I go to the gym. I think it's a huge, important thing to take care of your body and your mind and your soul and your spirit if you're trying to run a successful business. And that starts with the tangible things. If you feel like a piece of shit, you're not going to want to make calls. If you feel like a piece of shit, you're not going to want to, if you're feeding your body with garbage, which sometimes realtors have to do, be intentional about your mornings. I try to time block for making calls, for prospecting, all that stuff. So this is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's actually something that Chuck Fazio, who is a good friend of mine, and he moved his entire 900 agent organization to EXP about 4 years ago. It's worked out really well for me. He lost 600 agents right when he moved. That said he was nuts. And I think he has 10,000 agents in his organization now. So, but what he says, and I actually love when he says it, don't be casual, right? Stop being casual about your business. You're either here to do it or you're in the wrong place and you're in the wrong business. If you don't like what you're doing, you shouldn't be here. The days are hard sometimes. That's no matter where you go, the grass isn't greener on that front. You want to make more money, the problems get bigger, right? It's just a matter of how you address them. But you got to like what you're doing, right? So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this. I will make sure I save these slides and upload them into Slack. Obviously, we record all this and we always throw the Zoom recording into Slack anyway, but I'll make sure these slides are in there so it's easier to access. Any other questions about this? Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I've been reaching out to a lot of friends that are on the outside sphere a little bit and reconnecting with them, like even if it's twice a week.
Yeah.
Picking 2 people, each week, and then meeting up with them and trying to restart that network.
Absolutely. One of the greatest people at social media, and she doesn't really even understand it, how good she is at it, is Samantha Gray. That girl pulls more business out of Facebook than I've ever seen. And that's the truth. And it's not because she's out there, spamming her entire network. She's sharing stuff about her kids and going to baseball and the other stuff she does with Cadence, her daughter, but she's also, saying, hey, I have a listing coming up in Loomis for 600,000. Who's got a buyer? And then what happens? Somebody who actually probably wants to buy the house reaches out. They might not buy that house, but guess what she has now? A buyer, right? So the point is you have to keep it mixed up, and it's the only prospecting isn't just Chime, right? There's all kinds of new mediums now. There's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. Wherever your audience is, you guys need to figure out how to be there and get in front of them, right? What we do here is help give you guys leads to supplement your business, to get you off and get you growing, right? Get you off the ground. And at the end of the day, you guys are responsible for what you do after that. Okay. And a great way to do it is start building that Facebook network. It works, and at the end of the day, we actually get a lot of recruits and a lot of people that come in here from that. So you guys, if you guys have more questions about that, we can probably do another Facebook class here soon. All right. Cool. Thank you. That was a good suggestion. All right. Let me get this thing to move here. Dad, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Obviously.
They were sitting there.
I regretted it.
Yeah, I'm a big guy. Hey, good morning again, everybody. Yeah, I was listening to Kobe talk, and one of the things, and it's funny because Nikki Tanner had that made when we were over at the other company, and I've always said that the most successful people don't get into real estate. Real estate gets into them, right? And I don't expect everybody to be like me, whereas it's literally been my life for 43 years. But there is something to be said about a commitment, right? I was with a friend of mine, and all of a sudden my text goes off, and it was Haley on a transactional question, and I told him I was there working it, and then my text goes again, and it was Lauren. I don't know if Lauren's back there, and I answered it, and he looked at me and he said, I don't get it. I know you. I've known you for years. You don't have to do this, right? And I said, yeah, but I committed. Has anybody ever reached out to me? And if you have, and I haven't responded, I apologize. It's just because I missed it. I am committed, right? And what Colby's talking about is, if you want to be successful in this business, you need to be committed, right? I look at what we've done here, and it gets a little emotional. I mean, we haven't even talked about, it's the first meeting of the year. We closed over 500 transactions last year.
585.
That's amazing, guys. That's amazing, right? Part of it is, and I get calls. I met with this young man yesterday, and I met you we were in the class, and we're talking, and you can tell people are sensing that there's something different here, right? And so not only are we committed to you individually, but we're committed to the team. We're committed to making sure that what we have here stays special, right? It has to stay special, because when I used to run companies, I used to tell my managers all the time that running a successful branch, because I ran branches in those days, right, is like having a bar. If you got a great band playing, people will knock the doors down to get in. The minute the band leaves, they all go looking for a different bar. Our job is to keep the band playing, right? So one of the things that I've always talked about, in at this time of the year, is I talk, and Bob Mackey, who's listening in Zoom, I've known Bob and worked with Bob for 40 years. A lot of you have noticed him chiming in on the general questions and that type of thing. If you have any questions, you can't get a hold of me or whatever. Bob's been a broker since, actually, this is a little trivia. Bob's license number is 100 lower than mine. Okay, so he's been around for a while. So yeah, he used to be my assistant manager when we had Contempo. So if you have any questions, but as Bob knows, I've been telling people for years that, this business is a lot easier if you can approach it like a Tim. I don't know where Tim is. He's usually right there. But what I've noticed is people who are naturally consistent tend to do better in this business, right? For those of us that come from the Culbertson family, where ADD is as common as getting up in the morning, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. We have to work at it. The reason you walk around the corner and over there and you see me writing letters, a lot of you have come in because of the letters, is that's how I stay on point, right? That's how I stay on point. And what Kobe was talking about today is you have to have a program in place that keeps you on point. You can't come into this business and approach it casually. It's like when I was talking to Gabrielle when she first came in for her interview, I said, you know, we're at a point with our team that we can no longer afford to have people that come in and want to treat this business casually, because if we do and we screw up, guess what's going to happen with Zillow, right? The Zillow difference that we have is incredible. My good friend, who's now the president and used to be my partner at Contempo, Gino Blafari, used to always say that a casual approach to the real estate business will quickly lead to a casualty, right? And it's absolutely true, right? So you got to be consistent, got to be committed. One of the things we work on every Wednesday, and you know, you were here for the first time the other day, and yesterday, Caleb is somewhere over here. I tell people part of the reason that we do the training, it's called, what does the contract say? But what I've learned over these many, many years, there's a lot of people on Zoom right now that I've talked to about this on the phone, is there's two primary reasons why people get into the business. 85% of the people that get into the business, according to NAR, fail in the first year. A lot of them don't go back to their old careers. A lot of them don't leave whatever company they're with. They just fail, right? They're not selling anything. They're not making, you know, they're obviously not making any money, right? So what we talk about in that class is the reason we spend so much time. And it's what we talked about yesterday, right? You got to carry yourself a certain way. Confidence is huge in this business, not arrogance, but confidence. You know, and it's like I was telling Caleb yesterday, he was going out showing, he's got a client, he's got two clients that he's meeting with, is he needs, I was selling real estate at 19. I know what it's like to be young. You have to carry yourself with confidence. And the way that you garner confidence is product knowledge, right? Know the contract. Watch YouTube. I mean, I didn't have YouTube. I mean, there's so much good stuff on YouTube, right? It's there, right? Yeah, and the biggest thing that I'm going to show a chart here in a second. The number one reason, and Christian's not here today. I love picking on Christian. He's a young man that came in and everybody was looking at him, and he's, you know, first day he shows up, I think he's wearing flip flops and a tank top, and
without socks.
yeah, and I pulled him aside and had one of my talks with him. But he came in and what I liked about him, and Dylan as well, right? Took Dylan out door knocking the second day on the job. Is he's courageous, right? Courage is a big deal. And, you know, Bob Mackey, who knows me forever, and Jeff Flores, you know, the reason we call Flores is because there was two Jeffs and it was just easier to call him Flores. I like to think that when I moved to San Jose and didn't know a soul, my number one attribute was I was pretty courageous. I went out and knocked doors 3 nights a week. You know, I had my angel flights, my Familaris, right? For those of you who don't know, if you ever watched Saturday Night Fever, that's what John Travolta's wearing. It's, you know, it's embarrassing now, but it worked, right? But my point is when you're trying to figure out what you want to do in the business and where we're so different, and all the new people that I've been talking to that are thinking about coming in here, you know, you can validate the fact that I am so proud of what we've done. But do you know that last year we had 3 people who have been in the business for less than 15 months at the time that all made well over $200,000. Show me one other real estate office in California that can say that, right? And I know a lot of the real estate companies. I know a lot of real estate offices. Tim, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Kelly, congratulations.
Yep.
Nicole in Idaho, congratulations, right? These are people that weren't even in the business. You know, we had a former policeman, we had a former horse trainer, a mom that moved to Idaho, didn't know anybody. Yeah. Right? Incredible. It's incredible. So again, as Colby was talking about, what we try to do is we try to, basically help you jumpstart your business by keeping this lead business going, right? And this guy right here, I mean, I hear him, you know, I'm with him a lot now, and I hear him at, you know, 5 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, talking to our, I didn't even know her name until I started spending more time with him, Sydney, who's our Zillow person, right? And making sure that we stay on track, because as the market shifts a little bit, and once interest rates move and people start reading about them, the media is always 30 to 45 days behind. right? So once the news gets out there, you will start seeing some of the buyers wonder if interest rates are going to go down, right? As our finance guys will tell you, with the average sales price, the average loan amount we have now, when interest rates move 1%, that's a big deal today. When our average sales price was 250, it wasn't as big a deal. Now that our average sales price is 650, it's a big deal, right? We'll sell around it. We'll get through it. Don't be surprised. I was talking about it yesterday in the class. There's this thing called adjustable mortgages. Most of you don't even know what the hell that is, right? But don't be surprised if that doesn't come back, right? We'll see. There's always a workout. Okay. So I just wanted to, congratulate everybody, let you all know that, now that we've been doing this almost 2 years, be 2 years in May, I can tell you it's fun. My reward, and you guys all have to have your own personal reward. Everybody's in a different place. And that's one of the things that I used to love about one of my favorite speakers is he would always say, Jim Rohn, he'd say, I don't know where I'm catching you all. I don't know what's going on in your life, right? But everybody's got, they're at their own place. Where I'm at in my life, when I get a call from Haley telling me that she just put another deal together, or Lisa, who was in the business a whopping 2 weeks and calls me up, oh my God, they want to write an offer. What do I do? Right? Those are the kind of things that are my reward, that make me very happy. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to share your successes with you. It's been pretty cool. So, but anyway, it's that time of year. It's that time of year. I put together, some of you have seen this chart before, years ago. I was speaking at California Association of Realtors, and somebody said, you're a young guy. I was young at the time. I know it's hard to believe. And what do you do? How do you, I didn't graduate from college. I grew up in Lincoln when Lincoln was Lincoln. And and I talk about courage. I talk about, Tom giving me the confidence to go out and talk to people, talk about a lot of those things. But what it really comes down to is, how did I bring up that chart, Kobe, that I sent you? Did you put it in there?
Nope, I didn't get it.
Okay.
I got the other one you sent.
Okay. There's a graph that we'll put on Slack. I sent it to you.
Let me see if I can find it.
And a lot of you have seen it before. It's real simple. It's not complicated because I am not smart enough to be complicated. But what I put together was basically, it comes down to what price are you willing to pay, right? This is a business where it's very, very simple to stay at home and do nothing. It's a business where, like Christian, who I started to talk about a moment ago, when he came in, I'll never forget, I had just moved over to the corner and he came over and he said, hey man, I need to make money. And I said, everybody needs to make money. And he said, no, I really need to make money. I don't have any money for my rent. And I said, well, that's a challenge. And he started taking calls and he didn't know what he didn't know, right? But he came across with a lot of confidence. He has tremendous courage, right? And he quickly put, Tim, 3 or 4 deals into escrow within like 30 days, right? And he started closing them. And I can tell you, Tim and I were involved with Christian on every one of those deals, and he truly did not know what he was doing. But we got him closed, right? We got him closed. And now, I asked some of you to, give little testimonials that we can share with people that are thinking about the company. He wrote a testimonial yesterday. He sent me a testimony to Danielle, and the day before, and I was at home and I was reading it. And my wife says, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And I looked at him, I got to tell you, I was like, this is why I do it, right? Because my wife is like, what the hell are you doing? You're 63, we're supposed to be having fun. I'm like, I am having fun, right? Yeah, yeah. You're not, but I'm having lots of fun. No, she's having fun. We get the grandkids are fun. So, but really, we'll get the graph out. I'll share it with you guys today. And those of you that are going to be at the class, it basically comes down to, it's a simple graph, right? The reason most people don't succeed in this business is a form of fear. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear that, I could never be Tim. I could never be Kelly. Think about this with Kelly. This is a young lady that 18 months ago was out training horses, making about 14 grand a year, right? I think she's making a little more than that right now. It's an amazing thing for me to watch, Caleb, right? That this business is incredible. The opportunity it affords everybody. I don't care if you went to Jesuit. I don't care if you went to friggin' Lincoln High School. Flores and I are living proof that somebody from Lincoln High School actually did not go to jail. So it's out there. You just have to pay the price. Couple things on contracts. We'll talk more. Those of you that want me to talk with you about your business plans, the first thing I'll ask you to do is to fill out that graph, which basically shows what price are you willing to pay that equates to how much money you're willing to make. It's just that simple, right? It's like, where's Dylan? Dylan comes in the business and, Dylan didn't tell me he didn't have money for his rent, but I could tell that, he needed to sell something. And so I had a listing coming in Old Sacramento. I said, we're going to go out and knock doors. This is what you say. So about 2 hours into it, the phone rings and he goes, hey, somebody says they want to buy it. What do I do? I said, well, write the damn thing up. And he said, well, how do I do that? Right. But you had the courage to go out there and talk to people, right? That's the number one step. The old Tommy Hopkins used to always say the hardest door in the world to open is the car door, right? And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. So we'll talk more about that. But a couple things that I wanted to talk about that happened between the last time we were together, because as those of you that are new today, you understand, I try to go through some contractual things. The SRP, the seller's replacement property, we're seeing it a lot now, right? Which makes a lot of sense, which, as we all know, basically is the seller saying, listen, I'll sell you my house, but if I can't find another home, deal's off, right? What we have to remember is in that contract, there's a box that needs to be checked. If you're representing the seller, if you're representing the buyer, you need to see if it's checked because you don't want any confusion. It's also contingent upon the close. So even though the seller might say we found another house, we can remove that contingency. The aspect of that addendum that says it's contingent also upon the close doesn't have the ability to be removed, right? Because when is it going to close? In reality, in the real world, when does the house that the seller's contingent upon closing close? Pretty much the same day as the house that we sold closes, right? So that's when it happens. It's kind of like what we used to do in the old days. We never removed loan contingencies because what would happen is you would close when you got the loan approved, right? Things have changed. Things continue to change. They always evolve. But the SRP, if you get involved in an SRP and you don't completely understand it, make sure you reach out to me. The other thing that came up is Christina has a transaction going in Tahoe with a reverse contingency SRP, seller's replacement property, and they put it into escrow. The seller hasn't found a place in a long period of time, and she says, now my buyers have found another property. They want to know if they can get out. They extended the SRP, but the listing agent screwed up. She never delivered the TDS and the SPQ to the buyer. When we represent a seller, what's one of the first things we want to do when we can?
Get that.
TDS, SPQ, because the client has how many days to review it from delivery? 5 or 3, depends on how delivery is. If it's in person, it's 3. If it's electronically, it's 5, right? So guess what we did? We responded to that seller who still was hoping that she was involved with them because the listing agent was nowhere to be found, and basically said, listen, we are in receipt of the TDS. We hereby cancel the agreement. Because we all know on TDSs, we don't give a reason. We just state that we're in receipt and we're canceling the agreement. Solar leases. Here's a new one for you guys. And I want to share this one with you. And I know we're going over a little bit because it's the first meeting of the year. Christian sold a house, getting ready to close. Everything's cool. The seller gets notification from the solar company that they won't allow the new buyer to assume the solar lease unless the seller reimburses $10,000 for the tax credit that they received for the solar. That was a new one on me. Never heard that one before, right? That happened. We were supposed to close on Friday. We got notification on Wednesday of that week, right? Not a good thing. So we had to go back to the seller. The seller said, I'll pay 5. The buyer says, it's not my trouble, right? So guess what happened? The other $5,000 is what happens in our business along lot. We picked up half, the other brokerage picked up half, right? How could we have known about that $10,000? I don't know. Because the listing agent did her job. She ordered the package ahead of time, gave it to us. The solar company just out of the blue says, listen, we're not transferring, we're not assuming, we're not allowing leases to be assumed if we don't get paid back for the tax credit that the seller received. That was a new one, right? That's odd. So we'll have to watch for that. Lauren, we're back there in the back. She sells a house, does a great job. Actually got it closed. Congratulations. I thought she was going to have a heart attack on me, but she got through it. She did a well inspection, right? And the water kept coming back. What did they say about the well? What?
E. coli.
E. coli, right? And how many tests did you guys have ran on it? And then how did we finally fix it? With a new filter, right? Do not close transactions in rural areas with wells without having the water tested, right? One of you, who I won't mention, called me and said, hey, they don't want to do any inspections. And I said, where's the property? Outside of Colfax. I said, no. Does it have, it has a well, it has a septic, the whole thing? Yeah. I said, when's the last time is it occupied? No, it's been vacant for a couple of years. What's the chances of that water testing to par, right? So anyway, you did a great job on that, Lauren. You know, I mean, again, talk about a stressful transaction, right? So SIP, we are through most of the COVID tenant landlord type law changes that came down in California. They still exist. As Flores knows, he's got a transaction right now that he sold. Fortunately, he didn't allow his buyer to close the transaction because the tenant has refused to move out. Okay. We have a transaction going in Southern California. It's still going, I hope, where we had a 29-day seller in possession licensing agreement. Thank God. It wasn't a 2 months. It was 29 days, right? So we're in the process now of being able to get that seller moved out, because again, when you get involved in divorces and they're messy, don't believe them when they tell you, oh no, you know, my wife's no problem, she'll get out, or no problem, my husband will get out. Because in this case, one of the spouses wasn't happy with the other person and she's refusing to get out, right? So remember, when you're writing offers with rent backs, if you can keep it at 29 days or less, that's huge, especially in California, right? Because once we go 30 days or more, we get into tenant landlord rights, right? We have basically a leasehold estate. And that's not a good thing if you sold a house and the buyer is trying to get in and their moving truck is outside parked and you tell them they're not going to be able to get in until we can get the damn tenant out or whatever, right? So that's what's going on. The other thing that comes up, and this is, I was involved in this personally. Alla actually just got involved in a estate sale. When we talk about listings, she can bring that up, is make sure, because a lot of people that are involved in trust sales, the children, they think everything is hunky-dory, no problem, right, Michael? And Renee's online, I think. Sold a house. Renee, this is a great story. Renee Crow prospects, has a client for a property in Sun City. The son of the owner, who unfortunately passed away, says, hey, my mom just passed away. We want to sell the place. And, you know, I just got your letter. Right? Let's talk, right? Long story short, he tells her everything's done. Mom had a trust, properties in the trust. My sister and I are the co-trustees. It's cool, right? Mom never put the house in the trust. Mom has a trust, but she never put the house in the trust, right? So we'd start talking, and then we asked, well, Mom signed a deed from herself to the trust. But you walk into the house and it looks like Mom has saved every piece of paper since she was a senior in high school, right? Can't find it. Can't find it anyway. So what has to happen now if we can't find it?
Probate.
Have to go through probate, right? So there's just certain things that happen when you get involved in trust sales, estate sales. do what Ella did, call me up, we talk it through, we make sure we get it done as right as we can, right? Because this is a $2 million listing, which she'll talk about here this morning. So congratulations on that, by the way. But anyway, guys, today, as soon as we can, I know I've talked a lot today. We had a lot to go over, but we're on page number 2. We're also going to talk about the 2 types of counter offers. And we talked a little bit about those yesterday. We're going to talk more in detail about them today. All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. A lot to talk about after a month of not seeing each other. Exactly. A lot of information there. All right. Let's run through new listings. Ella, you want to start?
Yeah, so it's fine. I'm gonna have it on February 7th, the one in Los Lagos. I'm still cleaning it up. I finally got all the paperwork done since it's a probate sale. So, yeah, if you wanna view it ahead, it's not ready, but
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
Great. And that's a price 2 million or 1.8?
I did 1,998 because the other listings over there are 2.2 and 2.4 for the same size.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a little lower and create maybe something.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody else have listings coming up? Jordan.
I have clients that are finally ready. I think I'm meeting with them tomorrow. 2.5 acres in Newcastle, house is 1,700 square feet, all remodeled, brand new 2,000 square foot shop with the ponds. Probably right around 1.1. Loomis Schools.
Loomis Schools? Nice. Okay. Anybody else? Listings?
I have a listing, Colby.
Go ahead, Judy.
2148 Greenhorn Creek Circle, Plumas Lake, coming on February 1st. You'll be in the MLS. It's already listed. And it'll be vacated as of the 26th for cleaning and pictures on the 27th. So it'll be ready to go February 1st.
Awesome.
But
Okay.
if you have anybody, get a hold of me and I'll get you in anywhere.
Are your clients allowing open houses?
Yeah, the house will be vacant, so they won't care at that point. So anybody who wants to do one, that'll be great. Yeah.
There you go. I just found you guys one. All right. Message Judy on Slop, Caleb. Okay. Anybody else? Listings, Jeff.
Yes, my 3205 Mayor Way in Carmichael. It's the floors. We got them redone with flooring. They look beautiful. They're in the bedrooms and the hallway. And that's 4 night. It's 560, a huge backyard. That'll come on the market on the 28th. We're gonna take pictures next Monday. If you need to get in there, if you have any clients for it, let me know. I get you in there. And then also I have one in Roseville by La Provence. It's 1108 Paris. That one will be coming on the market in the next couple weeks. It's a dialed up house. It's a nice house. A 3 to 2.5. And it's 1,300 square feet. That'll be a 499. That will go fast. It's real nice.
Be my neighbor.
There you go.
And then a terrible neighbor.
Two terrible neighbors. Yeah.
Nikki Tanner has one corner up in Granite Bay. I think it's either a 5 or 4 bedroom, 3 bath on a cul-de-sac lot, big cul-de-sac lot, completely redone, very nice house for 1.2 or 1.3.
Okay.
If anybody's got anything for Granite Bay, get a hold of Nikki.
Yeah. If you guys have something coming up in Granite or a buyer for Granite Bay for 1.2,
I think she said 1.2 or 1.3.
1.2 or 1.3, get a hold of Nikki Tanner. She's got a listing coming up.
That's going on this week.
Hey, Colby.
Yeah.
Who had that Carmichael listing? Sorry,
Florence.
I missed
Jeff
that.
Florence.
Okay, I may have somebody for that.
Hey,
Cool.
Colby.
Get a hold of them.
Yeah.
This is Nikki. Hey, it's
Oh, hi,
Nikki.
Nikki.
I'm posting details right now on Chime or on Slack.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Perfect. Cool.
Okay. Good meeting.
Thanks. I'm out of breath, but I'm sure somebody else is too. He's got more left in the tank. Any more listings? Okay. We end every week with a quote of the week. If you have the guts to make mistakes, your wisdom and intelligence leap forward with huge momentum. It goes with what we talk about in here, especially when you're coming in for a call night and it's your first day coming to call night, you're brand new. I've never heard anybody walk in here and say, you know what? I've been waiting for this my entire life. I cannot wait to call people to have them yell at me and tell me to F off or whatever they're going to say. But you know what? If you do it enough, there's always one or two that actually have a conversation. Right, Robbie? Yep. So if you're experienced, you should still come to call nights or do it from home. make it a practice of actually calling through your database. Okay. If you're new, come in here. We'll set you up in the pond. So have you start making some calls. Really what it does is it helps you get better at having conversations, right? We teach you how to ask the right questions. We watch you fumble a little bit, and that's okay. The one thing that I hear all the time is, I don't want to mess it up. It's your leads. Screw it up. There's 25,000 leads in there. We're going to be fine. All right. And move on to the next one. And then make another mistake. Learn from it. Go to the next one. Ask more questions. So those of you that are coming for the first time tonight, here's my challenge to you. Challenge yourself to get to 4 questions no matter what they tell you when they answer the phone. You get somebody on the phone, get to 4 questions. If they hang up on you, call them back. Tell them you got disconnected. Get the 4th question in, right? Don't give up is the point. All right. Go and do the hard things and the actual good things will start to fall in. I promise. All right. I'll get you guys in the contract class. I know that was long. We're a little overdue. We'll get my dad's computer set up now. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Colby.
Thanks, Colby.